to another one for Al Cuerpo Boxing, to the body. So, I think most of you know now that Victor Conte, may he rest in peace, passed away today. He was fighting pancreatic cancer, one of the worst forms of cancer you can get. But good thing is he's not suffering anymore. So, shout out to Victor Conte and his family. Hope they go through these times quickly. And well, in this live, I want to talk about like what's next, man, because I think a lot of fans of boxing in particular, because I think Conte kind of left the debt of Pet's conspiracies with boxing, man. You know, he left it with us, I want to say. And we really have to think about like what's next, man, in boxing. Forget about elite sport, man. You know, Conte already did his part in the game at the government level, Olympic level, you know, his whole Balco world, and so on and so on. He did his part, man. He had a pretty good experience run with doping, anti-doping, and the new forms of enhancement to try and counter PEDS, if that even makes sense, right? It seems like a paradox, if anything. But you know, for me, you know, as we always say, man, boxing is the Wild West because when there's a lot of money involved and you're a figure that says to yourself, well, you know what? I'm making millions. If a Russian is doing it, a Chinese is doing it, if a Brit, if a Mexican is doing it, then why not I do it, right? Because there's no transparency and it's not regulated, it's not controlled, man. That's how gangster boxing's been for who knows how long, man. And the funny thing is, boxing's always been gangster, man. Even before the time, even the introduction of PEDS, man, it's always been gangster. So, can we really complain? It's like, what is PEDS really, man? As far as American culture, it's like gangsterism plus doping, right? So it's just hard, man. I'm just trying to figure out now. And I always said to myself, is like, if you're a major star, man, you're putting yourself at risk, aligning yourself with Neck, man, or I guess the Conte name. And why? Why am I why? Think about it, guys. Look at the headlines right now. Look at all the headlines from all the sites. Look at the headlines. It's basically saying Balco mastermind or former steroid pioneer. Like to the casual or to the general public, it's not a good sign, man. It's not a good headline, no matter how you put it. So I wanna say that if you're an athlete that benefited from Conte as of late, I don't know, man. Is it good or bad? That's always going to be the debate, right? Because the snack system was supposedly intended to be a positive outlook for, you know, anti-doping, you know. And to his credit, or to the snack system credit, there are, you know, hypoxic training, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, in which you would find ways to, how would you say, intake oxygen at extreme levels, right? Or I should say, not having oxygen when needed. That was the whole experimental process for that. You know, so you had altitude training, right? High altitude training, what they call it. So that's that. That was the whole snack system. But again, guys, like there was the whole. You know, here's the thing, guys. Here's the thing. I never understood how fans could always say, well, for example, the Ingle Gym or Memo Heredia or Alex Ariza, you know, the Sheiks, all this stuff. You always got fans claiming to know theory and pointing fingers. But then when you talk about like Conte, the snack system, it's kind of like, well, you don't know what you're talking about. So I always found that like a bit comedic. And therefore, were we in a balanced state in boxing, man? Like, was that the transparency that nobody's innocent, and so therefore, who cares? If that's the case, then why do we always point fingers across? And it's actually funny, man, because it seems like for most boxing fans that spoke English, there always seemed to be like a bias towards American culture. What I mean by that is like There was really no heavy narratives towards the snack system or Conte, you know? And if I want to be gangster about it, me as an American, I could say, you know what, that's cool, man. Might as well take advantage of the situation. If nobody say anything, why should we complain or why even bring it up, right? But I guess back to my point, look at the headlines, guys. Look at the headlines. There's not really positive things on Conte's legacy and career. I would actually add a twist to it and say, well, what the public doesn't know is that Conte was actually was a pretty badass bass player for Herbie Hancock's band, man. That's kind of unique. That's very unique, man. It's very, very ironic that in the entertainment industry, which is boxing, of course, but you know, to have a spot and to have done stuff with Herbie Hancock, that's that's a milestone in my opinion. A lot of cats don't know about Herbie Hancock. Probably one of the baddest pianists to ever touch the keys, man. Straight up. Shout out to Herbie Hancock, man. He's still going too. Herbie's like about 84, 85, something like that. So, anyways, Victor Conte played with that band, man. That's Conte's background. So shout out to Victor for that. And I like about Victor Conte is he was always passionate about music, jazz, blues, rhythm and blues. He's always passionate about that. To shout out to Conte for that, where he took kind of like a time off in exploring that from the world of doping. So I don't know, man. And now that Conte is gone, guys, now that Conte is gone, from a stateside point of view, who do we trust now? It's really bad right now, guys. Really bad. A lot of you guys aren't really putting it together. Yeah, there's Vada still around. Usada still around. The WBC guys. So as much of you guys want to troll the WBC and make fun of Mauricio Suleiman, and remember, guys, Mauricio Suleiman, he, UCAD, and where was the guys? UCAD and the British Boxing Board of Control. They hooked up Jaime Munguia, man. I was thinking about that today, that a lot of fans, they like to troll Ryan Garcia, right? So check it out, guys. Connected that to you. Ryan Garcia, Vada, Victor Conte. Like, look at that triad of names put together. Meanwhile, fans forget about Jaime Munguia, UCAD, British Board of Control, and Mauricio Suleiman. So fans really don't really know what they're, man. Right now is bad in boxing, I think, in my opinion. Or who knows? Maybe I think promoters now might exploit this situation that the true middlemen in the game that were kind of like the gatekeepers or the gatekeeper, which was Victor Conte, since he's not in the game anymore, I think there's gonna be a lot more chaos. There's gonna be a lot more chaos. Think about all the guys right now in boxing that are still part of the snack program. Just think about that for a second. We better hope that no statesider gets an adverse finding now that Conte's not in the mix, because Conte, in my opinion, was the guy that could pull strings talking to other agencies, man. Or at least was like a good, how would you call it? Controller, if you will. Let me do a quick shout out to Mr. Enoch. He says, what up? I know he's saying some crazy stuff there. So, what's next, man? Are we remember, Conte was always a spokesperson for Vada. He always said, Vada's the true thing in the game. 24/7, 365. But now that there's really there's no voice anymore. Margaret Goodman, if she's still involved with Vada, I don't know. They're not going to talk, man, as much as Victor Conte did. Guys, there's no more stateside kingpin that's going to be for anti-doping the way Conte was. You guys need to realize that, man. There's no more guys now in the game, in our sports. He says, what does the V for base stand for? What does the V for base stand for? Oh, what's up? Round one. Asalto uno, round one. What up, though, guy? What time is it in Cali? Or you're from Cali, right? What time is it over there right now? Let's see. BBB Crypto says, hello, everyone from Daramjik Village. Good luck, boys. Yo, where's Daramjik? Acer says, what up? Oh, he says Vada. Round one. Yeah, so round one, actually might know because round one follows MMA in one championship. I told you round one. Some of my guys are in one championship. At least one guy I know, and I got more guys also in BKFC. And then round one also knows what is it, bro? The main one, Dana White's UFC. You know, they're still gonna be involved with Vada, right? Is that true? Round one, who is the UFC really? Are they back with USADA and Vada? Man, the game's crazy now, guys. Man, there's no more Victor Conte, and believe it or not, Victor Conte was the mastermind. And when I mean a mastermind, I mean that with respect because at least we could trust him with the knowledge. In that, what trace amounts were, what stuff are, what's beneficial, late in the game, close to the game, when we a game, I'm talking about the actual fight. Guys, there's no more Conte, man. It's crazy. What else is gonna say? I'll say this quickly about Victor Conte, though, because a lot of fans may not know. What made Victor Conte unique, and I give him a pass, and this is about being why gangsters in films, why they are protagonists or antagonists, or why fans don't really complain about characters in films that are bad, right? We root for the bad guys. Is that Victor Conte flat out said to the public and in interviews, he said this. He said, since we can't really control steroid use worldwide and that it's rampant, he said, I might as well help the guys learn how to use it or not to do it excessively. That's very respectable and commendable. And he made good analogies about like alcohol consumption. He said that. That's the real world, man. It's like me right now. Like actually today, I was gonna have a few brewskis. You guys know me. I like to do lights, have a couple brewskis, but today I'm like, damn, I gotta cut it down a bit. So I decided not to do it. Because believe it or not, man, they say taking two brewskis a day is not good for the throat or even stuff in the intestines. It's not good. That's what they say, man. I ain't gonna go against that. So sometimes you gotta take a break. Yo, let me do a quick shout out here. He says, "What is Daramjik, bro?" So round one says UFC used to be with USADA, but they don't work with them anymore. But they use the same protocols that USADA use. Yeah, I mean that's true. I didn't know that, but yeah, I mean USADA, VADA. There's a lot of agencies out there. But again, guys, rampant use in sports worldwide. And you know what's interesting about Victor Conte that I know? Victor Conte is actually known for using or for helping out American athletes. And probably that makes sense, right? Because he's a statesider. He had his background in the Olympics and maybe post Olympics. That's why a lot of athletes probably chose to go with him during the Balco and even post Balco. But if you want my honest opinion, guys, anybody that's with Vada right now, guys, dip out. Dip out of the program. Don't trust anybody, man. Especially now that Conte's out of the mix. Because I think Conte was a good middleman to keep the balance in the force, as we would say it, right? Or as I say it, the balance of the force. Quick shout out here. He says the V from VADA stands for volunteer, doesn't it? Oh, yeah, Volunteer Anti-Doping Agency. So, but that's that. I mean, that's VADA, that's USADA. I guess we shouldn't really be synonymous when talking about Conte and VADA. But round one, I mean, we should talk about that round one. Oh, shout out to Atomico, man, el jefe. The boss man Atomico came through. He says, saludos round al cuerpo boxing. That's what's up. Shout out to Cali boys. You guys are up early. But yeah, I was saying Atomico que now that Conte's not around, ¿qué pasa, man? Like it's gonna be boxing's gonna have a crazy turn, guys. Van a ver. It's gonna be crazy now, round one. Now that Conte's gone, I think there's gonna be more adverse findings in the game, and there's gonna be another implosion. And so, therefore, who's gonna be taken in charge, or who's gonna be the middleman to control what's going on between USADA and VADA protocols, right? But yeah, I mean, I give Conte a pass. If anything, man, nobody's perfect. Again, he's gone. May you rest in peace. Hold on for a second here. My boy's like, yo, pops, I gotta go take a whiz real fast. I'm like, go behind the bush. Yo, mira, take you guys out, right? It's a nice day out. It's a nice day. So round one says, so how they get money if it's volunteer work? Oh yeah. I mean, that's a complicated. Okay, go for it. No, no, they ain't gonna watch you. Hold on, guys. Our boy wants some privacy, I think. No, 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 sure that. Right there. Nobody can see you. Nah, it's okay. But don't pull. Hey, teaching my boy how to take a whiz in public. At least, well, like, without people looking. But he knows. All right, good boy. So, anyways, um, it's it's crazy right now, guys. And round one might be able to talk about that. I think round one and others, maybe Atomico might be back in some other streams because Atomico is also very knowledgeable about or at least you know Atomico knows the stories. He knows the stories about what's been going on. And I don't know, man. That's weird, man. That's weird what's going on right now. I heard today on one of I don't know if round one was around, but round one was also talking about no round one. Sorry, I was listening this morning on rep stream, and my guy Calico was talking about Crawford coming back. Calico's crazy. Calico's got some funny conspiracy theories or theories, but he had made some good ones. I'm not gonna say it here, but if you guys want, go ahead and check out the stream. But he was pretty much alluding to that, boxing's, the Wild West, and when money's involved, you don't know what's up. Let me just say, I think what he was saying, there's a lot of holes in the desert, and he was saying, I guess that the whole Crawford world, they didn't want to know what was going on, and so Anyways, man, if you guys get what I'm getting, you know what I mean. But if you want to know the how Calico said to go check out rap stream, I ain't gonna say it on here. Ahmet throws out the Turkey sign. Yeah, what up, Ahmet? Round one says Bud versus Jake. Oh man, yeah. What's up with the whole Jake thing, man? To me, I'll say this, man, because Jake Paul and Tank is now like the fight's canceled. People are talking about what's next. I mean, who cares, man? That's to me, that's all ghetto, man. Who cares about Jake Paul, man? Forget Jake Paul. Give him his cover. Give him like to be honest, we're giving Jake Paul more coverage than really caring about a Tank Davis is off. I told everybody, man, from the get go. Maybe round one knows, even maybe Atomico knows. I told everyone from the get go for months. Tank should forget the whole Jake Paul thing, man. Don't trust that outfit. Don't trust that world. That's why Tank Davis got to go with the Saudis. Go with Turkey Al Sheikh. In my theory, because Ring Magazine, who knows who's running that? I think Rick Reno and others, but I don't know because maybe Tank's affiliation with TMT, Floyd and Heyman. Maybe there's real haters. They don't really want to give Tank shine. Like they don't want to. They don't want to. How would you say recommend Tank Davis to Turkey Al Sheikh? When realistically, everybody should be recommending Tank to Turkey Al Sheikh because it helps stateside man. It helps Tank Davis. That's a debate in itself, man. I mean, I guess some fans really do like Jake Paul, man. To me, Jake Paul is just like basura, man. If we want to talk about like PEDS, man, that's that cat, man. The same way when you get like the Hollywood actors that got to get prepped up aesthetically for their roles, like the Thor and all that stuff. That's Jake Paul, man. That's Jake Paul. Whether you guys believe it or not, or like it or not. You know. So, anyways, man, looks like it's too early for most of y'all in the West. It's late for me out here. But anyways, I'm gonna cut on this one. So thanks for tuning in, man. For Al Cuerpo Boxing to the Body, go ahead and check out Boxeo Atomico streams. Go ahead and sub to him, and go check out Round One too. I don't know if Round One has streams, but those are the guys. Órale pues, peace out, y'all.